The version of you that will conquer the next level of life is not the version you are right now. Every breakthrough, every success story, every great transformation starts with one decision: to reinvent yourself. Think about it. How many dreams have died because someone refused to change? How many people live stuck in yesterday's version of themselves, wondering why nothing is working? If you want 2025 and beyond to be different, then you can't stay the same. You have to outgrow your old habits, your old excuses, your old fears. Reinvention is not just about becoming better. It's about becoming unrecognizable to the version of you that failed yesterday. In the next few minutes, I will reveal the exact strategies that will help you break free from limitations and step into a version of yourself that is stronger, bolder, and unstoppable. Don't just listen. Commit to finishing this speech, because by the end, you will have the tools to rewrite your story. Let's dive in. Reinvention is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Every stage of life demands a new version of you. What worked for you 5 years ago or even last year may not work for you now. The world is moving faster than ever. Industries change, opportunities shift, and even your own mindset evolves. If you refuse to reinvent yourself, you risk staying stuck in a version of life that no longer serves you. Reinvention is the art of breaking your own limits and building a new foundation on which you can grow, succeed, and thrive. Think about the people who are truly successful, the ones who seem unstoppable. They all have one thing in common: they are not afraid to evolve. They understand that growth requires leaving behind the comfort of who they used to be. Reinvention is about letting go of outdated habits, toxic mindsets, and limiting beliefs that keep you from stepping into your highest potential. It's about asking yourself, who do I need to become to achieve the life I dream of? This question alone can transform your path because it shifts your focus from where you are to who you must become. One of the greatest misconceptions people have is that they need to completely erase their past to reinvent themselves. That's not true. Reinvention doesn't mean throwing away your entire identity. It means refining it. It means taking the lessons, the wisdom, and even the pain from your past and using them as raw material to build a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. Reinvention is a conscious decision to stop living on autopilot and start designing the life you truly want. The power of reinvention lies in its ability to free you from the chains of stagnation. Too many people live in cycles, repeating the same patterns year after year, expecting new results. They want a better life, but they don't want to let go of the habits, relationships, or environments that keep them stuck. Reinvention forces you to disrupt those cycles. It asks you to stop settling for good enough and start pursuing great. And yes, this process is uncomfortable. It requires looking in the mirror and being brutally honest with yourself about what's not working. But discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. You see, life will always test you. The challenges you face are not meant to break you. They are meant to reveal the parts of you that need to grow. Reinvention is your response to those challenges. It's you saying, I refuse to be defined by my past. I refuse to let fear, doubt, or failure decide my future. When you commit to reinventing yourself, you create a new blueprint for your life. You shift from being reactive to being intentional. You stop waiting for opportunities to find you and instead build the version of yourself that attracts them. Reinvention is powerful because it gives you control. It allows you to break through limitations that you once thought were permanent. Think about this. Every major breakthrough in history was born from someone's decision to change, to take what was and turn it into what could be. Reinvention is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process of growth and self-discovery. The moment you stop evolving is the moment you start decaying. So ask yourself, are you willing to let go of who you are today to become the person you are meant to be tomorrow? The power of reinvention is that it doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives of those around you. When you rise, you give others permission to rise as well. When you evolve, you inspire others to believe that change is possible. Your transformation can be the spark that lights someone else's fire. And that is why reinvention is not just a personal journey, it is a responsibility. You owe it to yourself, to your family, and to your future to become the greatest version of who you were created to be. The biggest breakthrough in life does not come from changing what you do. It comes from changing who you believe you are. Identity is powerful because it dictates your behavior, your habits, and even the decisions you make every single day. You will never rise above the level of the story you tell yourself about who you are. If you see yourself as someone who is always struggling, you will unconsciously create patterns that keep you in struggle. If you see yourself as someone capable, strong, and worthy of success, you will naturally pursue opportunities that align with that belief. Shifting your identity is the foundation of reinvention because true transformation starts on the inside. Most people fail to change because they focus only on their actions without changing their sense of self. For example, if you want to be healthier, simply going to the gym won't make a lasting impact unless you begin to see yourself as a healthy, disciplined individual. If your identity still says, "I'm lazy," or "I'm not cut out for this," your old habits will pull you back. Lasting change happens when your actions and identity are in alignment. That means you must stop identifying with the version of you that failed, quit, or got stuck, and start embracing the version of you that can win. Identity is shaped by many factors: your upbringing, environment, experiences, and even your failures. But just because something shaped you doesn't mean it has to define you forever. At any moment, you have the power to rewrite your identity. You can decide, "I am no longer that person who settles for less. I am someone who deserves more, someone who can achieve greatness." The mind is incredibly powerful, and when you begin to declare a new identity and act in alignment with it, your entire reality begins to shift. The key is to not just hope for change, but to become the change. Shifting your identity also means letting go of the labels that others have placed on you. Too many people live under the weight of other people's opinions. Maybe someone told you that you would never be successful, or that you're not smart enough, strong enough, or capable enough. Those words may have built a false identity that you've carried for years. But here's the truth. You are not who they say you are. You are who you decide to be. Your future self is waiting for you to stop carrying those old names and start walking in the identity of the person you were created to become. The process of shifting your identity requires consistent action. You can't just say, "I am confident," and expect to feel confident overnight. You build that identity through small, repeated actions that reinforce your belief. Every time you show up, every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you push past fear, you are casting a vote for your new identity. Over time, these small votes add up until your mind begins to accept, "This is who I am now." Another important part of identity shift is surrounding yourself with the right environment. If you are trying to change, but you keep hanging around people who only know you as your old self, it will be harder to grow. You need to be around people who speak to your future, not your past. People who see your potential, not just your mistakes. This kind of environment will help reinforce your new identity and make it easier for you to step into the person you want to become. Shifting your identity is the ultimate act of self-liberation. When you decide to become someone new, you no longer let your past define your future. You stop letting failure speak louder than possibility. And once you start believing in the new version of yourself, you will begin to take actions that create a completely different reality. Your life can change the moment you decide, "I am no longer who I was. I am becoming who I was meant to be." The greatest prison that most people live in is not made of walls or chains. It is made of their own limiting beliefs. Mental barriers are the invisible walls you build in your mind that stop you from stepping into your full potential. These barriers are often created by fear, self-doubt, and past failures. You might have a dream or a goal, but as soon as you think about pursuing it, the voice in your head says, "You're not good enough." Or, "What if you fail?" That voice is not reality. It's just the echo of fear trying to keep you where you are. To break through mental barriers, you must first recognize that most of them are illusions. They exist only because you have allowed them to take root in your mind. Mental barriers often come from the stories you tell yourself. Maybe you failed at something in the past, and now you've convinced yourself that failure defines you. Maybe someone told you that you weren't capable, and you believed them. Over time, these stories become like chains, keeping you from moving forward. The first step to breaking them is to challenge those stories. Ask yourself, is this belief really true, or is it something I accepted because it was easier than fighting against it? When you begin to question the validity of your limiting thoughts, you start to weaken their power. Breaking mental barriers also requires courage. The courage to act even when you are afraid. Fear will never fully disappear. It's part of being human. But fear should never be the driver of your life. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. Every time you take action against fear, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the mental walls holding you back. Over time, those walls begin to crumble because action builds confidence, and confidence erases doubt. Another powerful way to overcome mental barriers is to shift your perspective on failure. Most people see failure as a dead end, when in reality, it is a stepping stone. Every failure carries a lesson that can help you grow, adapt, and eventually succeed. When you stop seeing failure as something to avoid and start seeing it as feedback, you stop being paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes. The truth is, success is built on the foundation of failures. Every time you get back up, you build resilience, and that resilience becomes the key to breaking through any mental barrier. Visualization is another tool to destroy mental limitations. When you vividly picture yourself succeeding, achieving your goals, and living the life you desire, your brain begins to accept that reality as possible. The mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality when the image is strong enough. Athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers use this technique to mentally rehearse their success before it happens. When you visualize your breakthrough daily, you begin to train your mind to focus on possibilities instead of problems. Surrounding yourself with people who challenge your thinking is equally important. Mental barriers often persist because you are surrounded by the wrong voices. People who tell you what you cannot do instead of what you can do. When you are around those who believe in growth and possibility, their mindset begins to rub off on you. Their encouragement helps you see beyond your self-imposed limits and pushes you to aim higher than you thought possible. Ultimately, breaking mental barriers is about taking ownership of your mind. It's about realizing that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is often the narrative you've been telling yourself. Once you change that narrative and begin to see yourself as capable, deserving, and powerful, nothing can stop you. Mental barriers are only as strong as the power you give them. The moment you decide that your dreams are bigger than your fears, those barriers lose their hold, and you step into a new realm of freedom and possibility. Change is one of the few guarantees in life, yet it is the very thing that most people resist the most. We fear change because it forces us out of our comfort zones, and the human mind naturally craves safety and familiarity. But the truth is, nothing grows in comfort. If you want to reinvent yourself and break through limitations, you must be willing to embrace change, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. The people who achieve great success are not those who avoid change, but those who face it with courage and turn it into an opportunity for growth. Courage does not mean you are never afraid. It means you move forward despite fear. Every major transformation in life requires an act of courage. Whether it's starting a new career, walking away from toxic relationships, or pursuing a dream that others don't believe in, fear will always whisper in your ear, telling you to stay where you are, to hold on to the familiar, to wait until the timing is perfect. But there is no perfect timing. Waiting for fear to vanish before you act will keep you stuck forever. You must learn to take steps forward even when your knees are shaking, because courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act in spite of it. Embracing change also means letting go of the old version of yourself. Many people remain trapped in the past because they are too attached to their old habits, routines, or even identities. Change requires shedding the skin of who you once were to step into who you are meant to become. Think of it like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It must go through a period of transformation that feels uncomfortable, even painful, before it can spread its wings. In the same way, when you are transitioning into a new phase of life, it may feel as though everything familiar is falling apart. But in reality, your old self is making space for a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of you. To develop the courage to embrace change, you must also train your mind to see change as a friend rather than an enemy. Change is not here to destroy you, it is here to shape you. Every challenge or unexpected twist in life brings with it a hidden opportunity. An opportunity to learn, grow, and discover strengths you didn't know you had. Often we resist change because we focus on what we might lose rather than what we could gain. But what if you shifted your perspective and saw change as the very thing that could lead you to your greatest breakthrough? Another key part of embracing change is learning to trust the process. You won't always have all the answers, and you won't always see the entire path ahead of you. But just because you can't see the full picture doesn't mean you aren't moving in the right direction. Courage comes from believing that each step you take will lead you closer to the life you desire, even if you can't see the finish line yet. This kind of trust requires faith, not just in the process, but in yourself. Finally, embracing change with courage means taking ownership of your life. Too many people wait for life to change on its own or for someone else to create the opportunity for them. But real transformation begins when you decide that you will not sit back and watch life happen. You will create the change you want to see. When you stop seeing change as something that happens to you and start seeing it as something you can shape and influence, you take back your power. The world is constantly evolving, and if you refuse to change with it, you risk being left behind. But when you develop the courage to adapt, grow, and transform, you become unstoppable. Change will no longer intimidate you, it will inspire you. And once you learn to embrace change with courage, you'll discover that it is not something to fear, but the very force that leads you to a life of freedom, growth, and success. Life is not defined by the moments when everything is going well. It is defined by how you respond when everything falls apart. Challenges are not meant to break you, but to build you. Every obstacle you face carries within it an opportunity to strengthen your character, sharpen your skills, and test your determination. Resilience is the ability to rise each time life knocks you down, and it is one of the most powerful traits you can develop if you want to reinvent yourself and break through limitations. Resilience does not mean you will never feel pain, frustration, or fear. It means that no matter how hard life hits you, you refuse to give up. Challenges are inevitable, but defeat is always optional. The people who succeed in life are not those who never fall. They are the ones who keep getting back up, who learn from every failure and use it as fuel to keep moving forward. Every great success story is filled with moments of difficulty and doubt. Yet those moments become stepping stones to greater achievements. Building resilience begins with your mindset. If you see challenges as permanent roadblocks, you will feel powerless and stuck. But if you see them as temporary tests designed to push you to grow, you will approach them with determination rather than despair. Each difficulty you overcome builds mental toughness and confidence. When you look back, you will realize that the hardest moments of your life were also the ones that shaped you into a stronger, wiser person. Another key to resilience is refusing to let setbacks define you. A failure is an event, not a person. You are not your mistakes and you are not your struggles. Every challenge you face is simply a chapter in your story, not the whole book. What matters most is how you respond to those chapters. Whether you choose to stay stuck in them or use them as motivation to write a better ending. When you learn to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, you become unstoppable. Life may not get easier, but you will get stronger. And your ability to handle anything that comes your way will grow beyond what you once thought possible. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are now and the life you dream of living. It is the skill that transforms goals into reality and turns potential into success. Without self-discipline, even the best plans fall apart. Because desire alone is never enough. You might have big dreams, but if you lack the ability to stay consistent, to push yourself when motivation fades, and to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it, those dreams will remain nothing more than wishes. Discipline is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who settle for mediocrity. Mastering self-discipline begins with understanding that it is not about punishment or forcing yourself into misery. It is about having a clear vision of what you want and making decisions that align with that vision, even when the easier path tempts you. Discipline is choosing progress over comfort, long-term rewards over short-term pleasure. It's saying no to distractions that steal your focus and yes to habits that bring you closer to your goals. Every small act of discipline builds momentum. And over time, these small, consistent choices lead to extraordinary results. The truth is, motivation will not always be there. Some days you will wake up feeling tired, uninspired, or overwhelmed. It is in these moments that self-discipline becomes your greatest ally. Discipline doesn't depend on how you feel. It is a decision to act regardless of emotions. It's waking up early to work on your goals, even when you'd rather sleep in. It's sticking to your priorities when no one is watching and staying committed long after the excitement has worn off. To master self-discipline, you must also remove temptations and create an environment that supports your success. Surround yourself with people who push you to do better, and eliminate habits that drain your energy or distract you from your purpose. The more you design your life to encourage discipline, the easier it becomes to stay consistent. Ultimately, self-discipline is freedom. It may feel difficult in the moment, but it gives you control over your future. When you master discipline, you no longer depend on fleeting motivation or luck. You create your own results, and you build a life that reflects your highest potential. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and potential are not fixed, but can be developed through dedication, learning, and effort. It is the mindset that fuels progress and innovation because it sees challenges as opportunities rather than threats. When you adopt a growth mindset, failure is no longer the end of the road, but simply feedback, an indication of what needs improvement. This attitude shifts your focus from proving yourself to improving yourself, and that is where true personal transformation begins. The opposite of a growth mindset is a fixed mindset, which assumes that your talents and abilities are unchangeable. People with a fixed mindset avoid challenges because they fear failure, thinking that failure defines who they are. But those with a growth mindset embrace challenges, knowing that every experience, whether good or bad, contributes to their growth. They understand that mastery is built over time through patience, persistence, and a willingness to learn from mistakes. One of the most powerful aspects of a growth mindset is its ability to turn setbacks into stepping stones. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," a growth-oriented person asks, "How can I learn to do this better?" This simple shift in perspective can change the trajectory of your life because it keeps you focused on progress rather than perfection. It encourages resilience, curiosity, and a hunger for continuous learning, qualities that are essential if you want to reinvent yourself and break through limitations. Adopting a growth mindset also means celebrating effort as much as results. You begin to value the process of learning and improving rather than just the outcome. When you recognize that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory, you build confidence and momentum. Over time, this approach creates a powerful cycle of growth and success because each lesson learned makes you stronger and more capable. To cultivate a growth mindset, you must challenge your own beliefs about what is possible. Replace self-doubt with curiosity and fear with action. Instead of avoiding discomfort, lean into it, because discomfort is a sign that you are growing. With a growth mindset, every challenge becomes an opportunity to evolve into the best version of yourself. Surrounding yourself with the right people is one of the most powerful strategies for breaking through limitations and reinventing yourself. The company you keep has a profound influence on your mindset, habits, and overall trajectory in life. When you spend time with people who uplift you, challenge you, and support your growth, you create an environment where success becomes natural. On the other hand, toxic or negative relationships can drain your energy, cloud your vision, and hold you back from reaching your full potential. Choosing the right people means being intentional about who you allow into your inner circle. These are the people who inspire you to be better, who hold you accountable to your goals, and who celebrate your victories with genuine enthusiasm. They are not there to bring you down or to settle for less, but to push you toward your highest self. When you surround yourself with positive influences, their energy becomes contagious, and their belief in your potential strengthens your own belief. The right relationships also provide emotional support during challenging times. Reinvention and growth are rarely easy. They come with moments of doubt, fear, and struggle. Having trusted people around you who listen, encourage, and offer wise counsel can make all the difference. These individuals remind you that you are not alone and that setbacks are part of the journey, not the end of it. It is equally important to distance yourself from those who sow negativity, criticize without purpose, or discourage your dreams. While it may feel difficult to let go of familiar connections, doing so creates space for new, empowering relationships to enter your life. You deserve to be around people who see your value and push you to rise, not those who keep you stuck in old patterns. Building a strong network of positive relationships also opens doors to new opportunities and perspectives. When you engage with diverse, motivated individuals, you gain fresh ideas, resources, and encouragement that can accelerate your growth. You learn from their experiences and develop a broader understanding of what is possible. Ultimately, surrounding yourself with the right people is about creating a supportive ecosystem for your transformation. Your environment shapes your habits, mindset, and future. By choosing wisely, you set yourself up for success, happiness, and continual growth. Remember, you become like the people you spend the most time with, so choose those people carefully.